So as always, as we'll do, we'll go over the XY, and then the majors, and then also other markets you guys want me to take a look at, and then at the end we will do the questions in the questions channel and the setups for review. That will be the plan for today, as usual. With June, with this weekly outlook stream being also the first day of a new month, and we also got obviously the monthly candle closure last Friday, and we will also take a look at how the monthly candle has closed on majors last month, and we will keep that in consideration for our weekly expectations, obviously. Now, taking a look at the XY on the monthly, what we can see here is pretty much we had a consolidation profile, which also was an inside bar of the previous month. Um, Last month, pretty much, we have been trading only in a range on the XY more or less, and that's also now visible on that monthly candle we have on the XY of May. So what is my bias for the next monthly candle on June? And my bias is I have no idea what the June monthly candle will do, and I also could not care less. Overall, we have an inside bar, just telling us that we have seen consolidation, which was to be expected after price has taken out those previous year's lows. We've taken out 23 lows and the 24 lows. Large expansion in Q1 this year after Trump inauguration, and therefore consolidation. So the question is now, will we see a continuation of bearishness on DXY, or is DXY going to remain in that monthly range? Right? We have, as you can see, we have been trading inside this range here for the last two years more or less, and we have seen deviation of the range highs, and then that's where we have been looking for shorts all the way into the range lows. Now we've taken all the range lows, same thing here. We have seen consolidation at the range highs. Now we see consolidation at the range lows. So the question is, okay, is price remaining range bound and going back to mid-range from here? Or is price this time continuing to expand beyond that range lows and head, for those lows here? That's the question. I personally would always stick to bias that price remains in the range until proven otherwise. Because as we can see now, we've traded at the range lows and we failed to see continuation in May. Instead, we saw price consolidating. So I think at least the retracement back to that monthly imbalance, the May highs, which is also lining up with mid-range of that previous consolidation. I think that's likely to happen in June. But obviously, as day traders, we don't really care about the monthly bias. But obviously, it's always good to keep in mind what the monthly candle might be doing to frame then our weekly and daily narrative. Then on the weekly, you can see the same picture overall. Consolidation. We've been retracing into the imbalance, then sold off from the swing high, and then last week we took out those daily equal lows we have been talking about as our objective. Then saw price going from this OB. We're told you have to watch the OB. We traded higher from the OB, took out this internal high and traded back into a premium of their daily range here. Right? Buy side, internal buy side, took out that high. Daily chart looks a bit ugly with those opening gaps we have seen here. But as you can see, buy side taken, tapped the premium, and then sold off. And now we are consolidating inside this, we trade on the next day into this bullish BPR here. And Friday was more or less than a consolidation profile, as we did not see any expansion or any continuation of the expansion we have then seen last Thursday. Now, if we take a look at the economic calendar for next week, um, then we do have next week NFP on Friday. That's obviously going to be the the first major news event of June. NFP on Friday, and then we also have on Monday we got some London close news, PMI, and then also we have Powell speaking in the evening as well. Um, so for Monday, I will definitely let Asia and London session pass. Um, Probably the entire day, most likely, as it's a new month, new monthly candle, and we have news late in the day. So I'll probably let Monday pass. And then Tuesday, we got again 10 a.m. news. So focus would be again around New York session on London close session on Tuesday, and then the same thing on Wednesday, New York session and London close. And Thursday, which is a day ahead of NFP, we have to be, as always, we have to see what the first half of the week will be doing, and then we can decide if Thursday is more or less a low probability day ahead of NFP, or if we still can look for potential setups around the news we have on Thursday at 8:30 New York session, right? And then obviously on Friday ahead of NFP, you don't want to engage anymore until NFP is done at 8:30. Mm. So on DXY, what is my overall bias for next week? As mentioned, I don't really have a strong bias here. I want to see how we open up the week and the month and what NFP is doing mainly to then frame my bias going forward. Um, as of now, what I do want to see is DXY to take out ideally the previous week's low one more time, this low here. And then overall, I do expect price to trade higher from this consolidation again. We could sweep that low one more time, which is the April low. So if we go to the monthly, um, I could see something like that where we sweep this low, um, and then reverse. That could be something. But there's also the potential of seeing S&T at those lows with Pound, as Pound has taken out already those highs, right? We have been talking about that as well. Pound took out the highs already, so this could end up being SMT as well. That's why I don't really have a strong bias on DXY here. Took all the range lows, then internal all the way back to the range lows now, consolidating inside the BPR here. Um, so I want to see if price can make its way back down to those lows. But for that, I don't want to see price to get back above this H4 imbalance. Um, as Friday was more or less consolidation, I would prefer to see price taking out the Friday high one more time. As you can see, we trade into the key level, displaced lower, rejected from that low, then here again. So I would like to see overall if price is able to get above here. Obviously, again, we might see an opening gap this week on DXY, so that depends how we open up the week. But if we don't open up the week with a large gap, then that's my current expectation. That price probably will take out this high again, and then I want to watch if price is willing to displace lower. Um, and then head into those equal lows from Monday and Tuesday last week. And Euro overall, I also do think Euro will be bearish again in the coming weeks. It's just a question of when, in my opinion. Same thing here. We have now those equal highs. On the XY, we did take out that respective low here. But on Euro, we still have equal highs, and we are in a bullish order flow. Swept this daily week low into this gap, then displaced higher. On Friday, no continuation, unfortunately, just consolidation. But overall, I still think that we want to run those equal highs into that weekly wick, right? That weekly BPR we have here, the wick. I want to see price to trade into the lower half of that weekly wick here. Then that's where I think price could be forming a high and then rejecting lower, potentially all the way into those lows. So that could be something for June, that we open up the month. Early in the month, we see price running those equal highs. SMT here with pound and DXY potentially. And then if price on the daily starts to displace lower and we get some signs of daily bearishness, then I think we could see the top of euro being in and price heading for this low. So same as on DXY. On the H4 right now, we are a bit in a consolidation more or less. You can see here we saw on Friday price trading down into the key level, the H4 and the H1 imbalance here, also the breaker here. Then price on 8:30 news went higher, took out this week high, tapped the imbalance, sold off again, took out the New York lows, New York opening lows, and then heading into the daily closure, we again went higher, took out the New York highs, but again rejected this imbalance and again trade back lower. So same with DXY here. We do have this H1OB here, which we're currently trading now or consolidating on top of that. But the way the H4 is trading here, as you can see, consolidation, price is not able to get above this H4 imbalance. I would prefer if we can run this low again, this H4 week low, because I think below those lows are quite a lot of sell stops resting. So I would like to see price to run this low, and then if we can get bullishness on the H1 and H1 bullish order flow again, then I will look for longs on euro into those equal highs. And then we have the BPR above as mentioned for potential reversal to form. Same thing here. Depends on how we open up the week tonight. If there will be any opening gaps. We had some news again this weekend, I think, regarding Trump. So I would be surprised if we get again some opening gaps. Um, any questions regarding Euro or DXY? Yeah, pound. pound, what I want to watch on pound is the weekly imbalance. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Pound weekly imbalance. I want to see price trade into the weekly imbalance here. Um, we also have on a daily this inverse BPR here. You can see here previously we used BPR as resistance, got above, and now I want to see if price comes into the weekly imbalance. Then I want to watch if price is willing to continue being bullish from here. So that's going to be the key level to watch out for, the weekly imbalance, that previous week's low. And then once we trade into the key level, then that's when I will be watching for potential continuation on DXY, on pound. As mentioned, as pound took out already this previous high here, which euro has not taken out, there could be the case that we, have SMT being in the making here at those previous highs. So if price comes into the key level, there's also the potential that price just melts through and turns bearish, as that's what I do expect to happen on majors in the coming time, anyways. So it could be the top in here already. I don't know, but obviously the bullish key level is bullish until it's not bullish anymore. Doesn't the monthly range on the XY, doesn't it make more probable to expand lower? No, because it's a monthly range, but we closed also above here. So the closes itself don't matter at all. Closes itself without context have no significance. Hmm. Um, Aussie is also on the monthly trading at an interesting level. We have this monthly imbalance, which we used in the previous years as support. You can see here price retraced, got so late inside, went to the buy side, came back, hold up, then closed below this placement at the end of last year, closed below. So now we have this monthly inverse value gap, and last month we could see price sweeping the previous month's high, the April highs, into this inverse value gap. And as you can see, price has been rejecting, closed inside the April range, and failed to get above this or reclaim this monthly inverse value gap. On the weekly, same story. You can see a beautiful how price has been consolidating now at this inverse value gap. On a daily as well, you can see here Aussie just been chopping around, was not able to get above. Now we have formed here this daily BPR. So we'll be seeing if how Aussie opens up on June. But if we get some bearish order flow here on a daily and get out of that consolidation, then I will also potentially look for shorts into this daily imbalance here down below. But as long as Aussie isn't that ugly consolidation here, which we have been in the last few weeks, I will definitely not trade this pair. But I will keep my eye on this and see how we trade into June as mentioned. UCAD also trading at an interesting monthly level. We have monthly proportion block and monthly imbalance. So price approaching the middle of that proportion block and lower end of the imbalance. So going to be interesting to see how price will be reacting here on the monthly and weekly time frame. If we are willing to continue being bullish here, or if price plays out as an AMD. We have here the consolidation, manipulation, then we could see potential AMD and see expansion lower into the range lows. But with price tapping right at that range high and the OB here, we obviously have to monitor how price is trading here at that key level. On the daily, inverse value gap, tapped into it, sold off. So I want to see now continuation into this low, and then we have to watch as price is then approaching the middle of the OB for potential, how price reacts to that key level then. Then gold. Yeah, gold weekly candle, being honest, looks like shit. I'm not a fan of that weekly closure for bullishness. Closed inside the OB we formed last week, and now we do have a flat open here and a flat open here, and on the daily as well. I don't like how we closed on Friday. I'm still bullish overall on the daily as long as we hold that imbalance and don't close back below. But price not willing to displace higher on Friday after taking out those lows into the key level. That looks ugly, if you check what price did here. We swept this high, failed to continue from this imbalance, and now we are back in bearish order flow on the H1, as you can see. We swept that high. That's also why I told you on Friday in the outlook on the chart section that I won't long gold on the H1 until we get back above this H1 imbalance. And that's exactly why, because price rejected this high, retraced back into the H4 imbalance with displacement, so H1 order flow turned back bearish, left behind this bearish imbalance, close below this bullish imbalance here. Then we engineered a weak high inside the bearish imbalance and priced this in the consolidation profile. And if price in the consolidation profile runs the range highs into a bearish key level, then you don't want to long this here. You don't want to long the range highs in a consolidation. So that's where many people got cooked probably because they longed gold here, which is definitely not good. And as gold is on the H1 bearish, to me it looks like it will die. Like, depends on the weekly open obviously, but the way we trade on gold right now, I don't think it will go higher from here anymore. As of now, on the hourly at least. Like maybe sweep those lows again. But the way we are trading here, I don't like that at all. And I also closed all my gold swing longs last Friday, which I had opened up on Thursday because I did not like how we have been trading here on Friday and closed the week. So I want to see how we open up the June monthly candle, what June the 1st will be doing. And then I think that will give a clearer narrative for gold in the coming weeks. I overall think, you know, I pretty much told you guys exactly that I think gold will head to 3.5k when it was trading around here. Topped out at pretty much exactly 3.5k. So my high level target overall, as you can see here, that zone here for extension, got taken out. Now we're just consolidating, and we have to see. We do have all those low resistance highs above us, those highs, and this high. So there's quite some liquidity resting above those highs. So I would not rule out if price, goes higher again. Overall, I think gold 3.5k. I think that's a level where gold has topped out for some time now. And you will see, maybe some bearishness on gold in the coming months again. Who knows? But I think gold is done with the majority of its upside this year. Any other markets you guys want me to look at? Because that's pretty much all I'm watching as of now. Jay, I mean, UJ overall, um, DXY having a bearish bias. I also have that bias on UJ, but the daily here to me is quite indecisive. You know, we have bullish OB, bullish value gap. Price hit the lows here. Have SMT at the lows now, so we hit the objective. And as of now, I just will go with what the hourly is doing. You know, what my bias will be for the next day. But overall, as of now, I don't have a bias on majors, just too strong. I do want to look for, you know, bearish DXY as mentioned overall, which would be bearish UJ, but I don't like how we tapped or we saw bullishness off of that imbalance and the daily bullish OB. So no bias on UJ, and I also won't touch UJ here right now. But yeah, then I would say let's take a look. Solana, yeah, Solana back to $80. That's what I think. On USDD. Don't ask me for those shit coins. I'm not looking at some altcoins with like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. That's it. I don't look at all the other shit. Bitcoin. Um, Overall on Bitcoin, I want to see Bitcoin going back to 70k, 75k. Um, Now I would not rule out if price takes out the May highs again and then drops lower, similar as we did here. Sweep the previous month's high again and then start dropping lower. So I wouldn't rule out a sweep of the all-time high again. But overall, as mentioned, I am bearish on Bitcoin from my bias, and I think we will come back to those lows here, and that was just a manipulation above the previous all-time highs. Same with Bitcoin dominance. I think that shit will just keep pumping higher. You know, most people look for alt season all the time. You know, every time we see Bitcoin dominance pulling back a bit, people expect an alt season. I know exactly how last time around here in November last year, everyone was willing to see shorts from that weekly imbalance, and I told you guys I don't think we will see shorts from this weekly imbalance. I think we will invert this weekly imbalance and keep pushing higher, because I think on the monthly the Bitcoin dominance will go into new highs, like at least this monthly rejection block here. The way we are trading up here, that's not bearish, that's bullish accumulation. Like if price is bearish, it's not trading up, inverting this imbalance that way. This slow grind up will end up in a push higher. Algo soon to moon. Algo will go to shit before it moons. Like, I will buy Algo below new lows. That's where I will buy Algo. So if Bitcoin is dropping, Bitcoin dominance is rising, what happens to your favorite shitcoin? It will go to zero, exactly. I will get absolutely hammered. I mean, take a look at what happened on Solana only since Bitcoin has been going from also beautiful double sweep, equal highs, perfect level to reverse lower, right? Perfect level. If you check the weekly, did we tap the weekly premium? No, we did not, but we tapped weekly imbalance, consolidation, double swept, invert, about to invert this week. If you get a weekly closure tonight below this imbalance, that's a good sign for bearishness into new lows on Solana. Ethereum also on the monthly, we're trading in a higher time frame range, in a mid time frame range. We have higher time frame range, high range low, 22 low, 21 high of the last bull run, is all time high. And then we formed a new range, right? We formed this range low and this range high. We swept the range high, went now to the external range low. So obviously a price repricing back into a premium is likely back to mid-range, mean reversion. Price retrace back into the mid-range now. Monthly fair value gap, monthly OB. Now it would make sense for price to go to this low and take out this macro range low and then consolidate below here. And then go for the high. That would make a lot of sense, in my opinion, on crypto. So total free altcoins. Look at the monthly close. Went all the way into the monthly OB, the range high. Got hammered down again. Week high, swept, dumping low. Total as well, monthly rejection block. Straight into it, went lower. Honest Telegram coin. So what? Have a look at yen futures. Same thing here as UJ. Same chart, just inversed. Overall, I'm bullish, but the daily right now is just a nowhere's land with equal highs, trade at mid range. Nothing clear. Here. NQ is in the consolidation here. I would not touch NQ here at all in that range. Swept the previous week's highs. Still internet imbalance here. So on NQ, same thing here. I will wait for how we open up the month and then see what price is doing, or use a lower time frame bias. But on the weekly and daily, there's nothing obvious right now. We have range low, range high, and prices consolidating at mid range. So can go up, can go down, meaning low probability. So then we will head over now to the second part of the weekly outlook, which is the questions and the styles of review. Do not use the inverse value gap and instead anticipate retracement into the value gap. Yeah, because that's one is resting in a discount, and this one is, yeah, just a random value gap. Does a long consolidation inside a PRI decrease the probability of it working, or is it just time distortion? No, it does not. It can consolidate for some time, so it doesn't really matter. Mm. Drops for so days. Yeah, I mean that's the same as they had talked about, price and consolidation profile. We have H1, turning bearish again. We have the BPR above. Price sweeps the range lows, sweeps the range highs, um, and you pretty much bet here on a breakout of that range, which obviously can happen. But that's why I told you, or why I sent out in the chart section, that I want to see price to get above this H1 imbalance on a closing basis before I get into longs. I mean, it was the same I did on pound, but pound still ended up being a loss. That's also someone asked me to go over my pound trade on Friday, which I quickly will do. Blue pound on last Friday. So bias was bullish. We had low resistance, equal highs on the H1 from the previous day above us. Price took out the range lows, formed this H1 BPR. Then we took out the New York lows in London session of the previous day. Then heading into New York session, we saw price more or less consolidating as we had news at 8:30. Then I was waiting because here at New York session, I was still I don't like how price was in the consolidation here. As you can see, the H1, no displacement, nothing, and also price close below this bullish value gap and formed this inverse value gap. As you can see, price used this as support, got below, now resistance, and as long as price was respecting this on the H1 as resistance, I did not like to long this ahead of news. So I was waiting for news to play out, and also same thing here on gold. We have range high. So ahead of news, we are trading at the range highs, right? And I did not like to long this ahead of news. I wanted to let news pass in case this was just a manipulation, and then price wants to to reject lower. Was waiting for news to pass, but we had this M15 inverted fair value gap with the BPR below, bullish fair value gap. So BPR at the lows, price respected the BPR, traded higher, formed this OB here, M15 OB, then retraced down close candle. So this is a repulsion block. Repulsion block got confirmed with this candle closure. Then we have news. I want to let news pass. News were not able to push lower. I was waiting for news to get done, and then I was entering post news on that M5 propulsion block here we formed here, with stops below this strong low. Price followed up with the expectation. Also, the H1 close was quite decent, but then price just died. Yeah, for me, and I would say in 9 out of 10 setup would take it anytime again. But yeah, price just being price recently, trade like an absolute shithole. Um, yeah, that was the breakdown of my pound loss on Friday. Mm, I mean, I get your bias and everything, but why would you enter right here? Like, what was your reason to enter on this candle? Like, I don't see any reason why you should enter a trade right here on the H1 at least. I assume with like a lower time frame, changing order flow on the M15 maybe, I don't know, but um, yeah, on the H1 makes no sense. Yeah, you end up in the M15 imbalance. I mean, if the H1 being bullish, I would wait for a lower time frame double confirmation before entering on the M15. So no, I will not enter here. That would be for me still too bullish to short. Swiss franc. It's a bad trade. Daily weak high. Price runs to lows. SMT with DXY. And then you short this high with a weak high being your stop after price already hit the objective more or less on DXY. So DXY hit the objective at this point. You don't want to short anymore with turtle soup because price hit the objective as mentioned. Yeah, exactly, was it obvious? Once gold wasn't able to get above this bearish imbalance after sweeping the weak high of London session and then closed back below this bullish imbalance here on the M15. That's where I closed all my gold longs from the previous day around here. Yeah, I think that concludes today's stream. And then tomorrow talk to you all again on the daily outlook for Tuesday. So yeah, have a great weekend, guys, and talk to you all again tomorrow.